You got to recruit your own team back. That's huge for everyone. Everyone. And as far as does he have enough resources to win? He said we are working hard on it and we appreciate it. We appreciate it. And here's the last thing before we go to a break. I buy this, by the way. He says I'm a Kentuckian. Said he left home at 17. He's been here long enough. He's a Kentuckian. And I buy it. I don't think it was coach speak. I really don't. I think some of you will think it's coach speak. I get it. I have no problem with it. Think about the amount of time in his life. Let me tell you something. If he's thinking about resigning after this, it's the biggest con job press conference that I've ever heard. Let me repeat. If Mark Stoops is thinking about resigning, and I don't believe it for a second, by the way, do not believe it for a second. If he's thinking about walking away, to me, give me a real quick answer because we got to go to break. This has to be the biggest con press conference I've ever heard, and I don't think it's a con at all. I think Stoops is being actually really, 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 really sincere. Jimmy, what say you?
Yeah, I think he was too. And I was curious what his answer would be for the Louisville-Kentucky rivalry because in the pantheon of college football rivalries, it's not like at the top tier. So if he were to come out and say that, then I'd be like, oh, okay, you're just blowing smoke. But he gave the good answer. Like it's just as important as the other ones I played in. Yeah, I was waiting for him to go too much over the top, and that wouldn't be true.
Well, at Florida State, those schools in the state of Florida, he said it's as big as anyone he's been involved with. And I get that because emotions are emotions. I respect it. Is it bigger than the biggest? Nope. Not like the good old days, Notre Dame, USC. There's so many. But in this area, everybody knows how huge it is. As a matter of fact, I thought he handled everything perfectly. I mean, really perfectly. Brian Williams coming up next. What a great dude. I'm so glad he's joining us. And then after that, John Pelfrey, one of the great cats of all time, who's about to get in the bus to take his Tennessee Tech team here to Lexington KY for a game on Wednesday. And David Smith, tell you what, I want to go to Keeneland with him. We'll explain that coming up. Hey, don't forget about Subaru. Don't forget about Cadillac. Don't forget about Volvo, the Quantrill Auto Group. They are a special group of people, been taking care of people in central Kentucky and all over for many, 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 many decades. We have the XC60 now. It's the third vehicle we've gotten from Quantrill. My wife loves it. It's a hybrid. It is so smooth. Best car we've ever had. Best car we've ever had. And you get 41 miles before it goes to gas. And we have saved, figuring out, a bunch of money by using the hybrid because we don't often use gas. Actually, it's very rare. You almost have to leave town to kind of use gas, that kind of thing. So we love it. We love it. And don't also forget about the 0.000% interest on the Outback. 0% for 36 months. Want to spread it out for 72? 1.9. So the Quantrill family of dealerships, Cadillac, Subaru, Volvo, the right place, and drive in town from out of town. Drive in town from, seriously, northern Kentucky. These folks are worth it to deal with them. The Quantrill family of dealerships, the right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise to get you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks. Mr. Williams coming up next. Brian Williams. Do you remember him? Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrill Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no-filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. The Quantrill Auto Group has a great deal for this month. Subaru. The Outback is special, so check this out. 0%. That's right, 0% interest for 36 months. And if you want to spread it out to 72 months, 1.9%. What a deal. 0% interest for 36 months. Don't forget, the Quantrill family of dealerships is the right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks.
I'm Kathy Binkaman. Over the holiday, there was an attempted fraud attack. My personal banker, Mary Rose, and I networked together, and the first thing that I thought of was I have to text her. And it was just within the next few minutes, there was an entire team that came together collectively. And that's just not the type of service that you typically get from your bank.
That's Kathy's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank. Time to thrive. Member FDIC.
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties. Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
This is Brent Clark with my daughter, Carlisle.
We want to help you get ready for the holidays. So if you are just headed around the block or far away, stop in, gas up, and get some yummy treats for the car. Check out our holiday specials, including Mentos or Trident Vibes bottle pack gum for $3.99 or Uncle Ray's potato chips 3-ounce bags for $1.99.
So no matter where your holiday travels take you, stop in any Clark's Pump and Shop and get stocked up on holiday candy, and thank you for being a customer.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Google, Monday through Friday.
Welcome back. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM. I've already decided I don't want to talk to him because when we ran into each other and I didn't realize who it was, it's like the dude hasn't aged. Brian Williams, one tough defensive player, undersized, the pride of Middlesboro, Kentucky, second team All-SEC 1,000 years ago in his senior year, MVP senior, most outstanding defensive lineman of the year award twice, played 44 games. So, I'm walking in and he's saying hi, and I'm staring at him, and going blank. And it's that uncomfortable moment when I knew who he was, but I didn't know who he was. And when he said who he was, I was embarrassed because I talked to you a lot. I interviewed you a ton, but I haven't seen you. Have I seen you in 25 years?
Probably not. It's been a long time.
Been a long time. How are you? Thanks for joining us, man.
I'm doing great. Can't complain.
So what are you doing right now?
I'm coaching high school football in Harlan, Kentucky. I spent a lot of years coaching college football and finally decided to move home and be close to the family.
You like being back home again?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Give me your top moment playing football at Kentucky. The thing, if somebody says you're in your rocking chair and you're 70 years old and you're smoking a pipe and have a little drink or whatever, and your grandkids are saying, "Hey, Grandpa, what was the most fun you had at Kentucky?" You would say?
I'd say it had to be 1984 when we beat the University of Tennessee.
Nothing better than being Tennessee, huh?
In Knoxville. Nothing like it back then. That was the main rivalry game. It still means something to us now.
So when Kentucky, which has been rare moments, beat Tennessee, how crazy do you and your former teammates go?
Oh, we had a blast. The bus ride back from Knoxville was interesting. It was fun.
When you say interesting, give me a little more than that. Come on, man.
No, you can't give me more than that. But it was fun. It was just a bunch of guys that just believed in one another, and we got it done.
Now, you watch the team this year.
Yes.
Tell me the good, tell me the bad, tell me the ugly, tell me what you think of Stoops.
I tell you, when they're healthy on defense, they're a special group. I know they've struggled lately, but this past week, but the 2 weeks before that, when they had a lot of guys playing, they can be a special group on defense. Offense has struggled the whole year until recently with the young quarterback coming in, and they're showing some promise, and they do have some young kids. Hopefully we can hold on to them.
And that's what all these programs are doing. You got to re-recruit your kids. That's just life in the world of college sports today. The re-recruiting of your kids might be as, if not more important than the kids you bring in, because you don't keep enough of your kids. You can only bring in so many kids that can help you. So, and that has been going on. I mean, Kentucky's having conversations with their kids. Other schools are already having conversation with their kids. It's an ongoing recruiting process for your players.
Yes, it is. I tell you, with Coach Stoops, I tell you, I have a lot of respect for him because as a defensive coach like I was from all over those years, I think he has an excellent staff on defense that those kids play hard for. Unfortunately, I think the injury bug hurt him a little bit this year.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt when you're getting down to your fourth or fifth cornerback, although it's recruiting and they always say next man up, it's not an easy thing to do. And I would assume if Alabama's going to the fifth cornerback, it might be difficult for them. One of the things I thought Vandy did a good job of on their thing, once they found the weakness, they kept on pounding it, which is a smart thing to do. I've never understood, and I learned this watching the Green Bay Packers in the 1960s with Vince Lombardi. They had a sweep right, they had a sweep left. They had very few plays. They ran the same plays over and over in practice, and Vince Lombardi would say, we don't care if you know it's coming. We're going to do it, and we're going to succeed. And they would keep on using the same thing over and over until somebody stopped it. Now, Vandy didn't do it to that level, but I'm not surprised they didn't keep on throwing deep with Pavia. I'm a little surprised, actually close to shocked, that Kentucky didn't try to go deep more, because once you get behind on Vandy, you can't just run the ball too much and try to pound it to try to catch up. It's not going to work. And it didn't work. And then you get so far behind, you can't do it. I was very disappointed they didn't take more deep shots.
Right. Well, I was surprised they was able to throw it as much as they did. I don't know the actual stats, but they put it in the air a lot.
They put it in the air a lot, but not deep enough.
Right. Well, when it's working, we weren't stopping it, so they just kept doing it. Don't change anything. Stay with what you're being successful with.
By the way, it didn't bother me that they kept Pavia in the game for obvious reasons to try to get him more Heisman stats. You know, I figure it's the team's job to stop you. And if a coach wants to keep his player in when I got here in the 80s, I didn't like that kind of thing, and I've changed. Because you know what? This kid Pavia has an outside shot of winning the Heisman, probably in the top 3 in most people's minds. He keeps on doing this and has a game next week like he's had for the last 3. He's got a shot at winning the Heisman, so pad the stats. It's Kentucky's job to stop him.
I agree with that, but you know, I totally agree with that. Whoever's on the field at that point's got to lay down and make it happen for the defense.
So in the 1980s, did you ever dream that there'd be this much money in college football?
No, not at all. Never. No thought about it.
Were you part of the era with some of the guys who told me where they would go to all-you-can-eat places on weekends because there was no training table? And when some of these restaurants saw you guys coming, it was like, oh, no, we're going to lose money on you because you had to find enough food to eat?
No, we had the training table in Donovan Hall, so we ate well.
Okay, so when I forgot what year it changed, but there was a time period where guys couldn't get enough food on weekends where they would go to all-you-can-eat places and stuff like that.
We did have the meal money on the weekend that they gave us, and yes, it wasn't that much.
How much was it? Was it $30 or something?
Oh, it might have been $30. It wasn't much.
Some of the big old boys, though, and not that you were small, but some of the big old boys could eat that up quickly.
Oh, definitely, without a question.
So, go ahead.
But they treated us well in the training table in Donovan Hall. We ate well there. But you're right, on the weekends we was on our own.
You have a feel about Stoops and his future?
No, I don't. I mean, I was in that business a lot of years, coached at some places, and I really don't. I tell you, I thought we flipped the switch and won those 2 against Florida and Auburn, and was a little disappointed at how we played on Saturday. So, but I don't have an actual feeling of what's going to happen.
So when you watch a game like Saturday, do you turn it off and walk away ticked off? Do you sit there and watch the whole thing?
I watched the whole thing. I still believe that, hey, hopefully they can make a comeback. But when
so you were still believing in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I believe in it till it's 0-0, and just hoping that the kids will keep playing hard.
I thought they played hard. I didn't think they quit at all.
No, they never. That's one thing this group has not done. They haven't quit.
Well, look, thank you for joining me. It was really good catching up. It's really good seeing the stadium. I hope I see you at the stadium again, and hope to catch you down the road.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Brian, thanks a lot. Brian Williams. Jimmy, I'm telling you, he was a studly defensive player back in the good old days. He was really, really, really good. Tough, and let me repeat. Very, very, very tough. John Pelfrey coming up at 1:00. Let me repeat. I don't do this a lot, but I'd probably do it one other time today. Stoops sounded like a man with the future. And I stand by what I said. I'll keep on saying it. If he's thinking about leaving, it's this press conference is the biggest con job press conference I've ever heard. He is popping for the future, talking to Mark Hill about assistant coaches' contracts. A lot of assistant coaches have their time up. Still says working on it hard to get the resources that he needs to win. And he appreciates that people are trying to help him out, the people. The clearinghouse, which I've heard some complaints about, he said it in a very political, nice way. The clearinghouse, okay, let's say, Jimmy, you're playing football for UK and a car dealership wants to give you 20 grand. And the clearinghouse can say, well, they're giving you 20 grand, but you're not doing $20,000 worth of work. They reject it. And so there's been some difficulties with the clearinghouse. I've heard from different people in different schools and stuff like that. And I buy his answer. They're getting its footing, and it can be very frustrating. There's no question about it. And for a new system not to think there wouldn't be some problems would be kind of silly. It really would be. But he stands by the fact that Kentucky's a better football team than last year, and that there are some schools, he wasn't complaining, have a boatload of money for some high school talent, and he needs players to help Kentucky win next year. And I'll tell you, I know how I took that. Pitino said he's not recruiting any more high school players. Not going to do it. I'm not saying Kentucky's going to stop recruiting high school players. I don't see it. I don't feel it, that kind of thing, but it'll be fewer and fewer. It makes sense. It really makes sense. I think there are a lot of programs that are going to have to go in that manner. They're going to have to go in that manner. Let's go to Colin Chandler. I thought he was really good. Jimmy, tell me when you have it. And I like this answer in particular. We'll start with clip one. One of the things that I wish that there were so many rumors about Kentucky basketball. It's ridiculous. Some of the things thrown at me and other people that I'm going, well, I don't know if it's true, but I can't believe it's true. I got a lot of those. A lot of us did. And it's passed obtuse. This is such a rumor-mongering place. And look, it can't be perfect, but it's just too much. So Chandler had a perfect answer about, hey, you're on the basketball team. Do you hear these rumors?
I don't know too much about what's going on. I've heard a little bit. I don't know if I've heard anything that's true, to be honest. So I think sometimes it's just kind of we get to giggle at each other and what some people are coming up with. So.
Did he just use the word giggle, Jimmy? Giggle?
Yeah.
Started doing this in the 1970s. I don't ever remember an athlete, male, female, whatever, ever use the word giggle. Have you ever heard the word giggle in a soundbite?
Not by many athletes you don't see in press, especially basketball players. I don't know why, but you don't hear the word giggle.
Matter of fact, I'm watching the soundbite and I had my feet up and I didn't jump out of my chair. It was kind of like, I had to replay it again to say, did he really say giggle? Good for him. So he's shooting better. Clip number 2, why is Colin shooting better?
I shoot a lot, but so does every player in D1 basketball, and so I've been getting a lot of great looks from my teammates that haven't been hard. Spot-up shots, I've been getting a ton of them, and also the more I play, the more comfortable I've gotten, the more confident I've gotten. Those two things are huge for success offensively, is being comfortable and confident.
A little bit more about why Colin is shooting better.
There were a lot of things. My shot, I actually worked a lot on my shot with Coach Fox. He did a lot to I guess, make me more consistent from the three. But in the games, it's just a different pace, different adrenaline. So that comfort is huge. And it took me longer than I would have liked last season. But as soon as I got it going and kind of understood what I needed to do, how to control those things that were new when I was on the court, I was able to shoot the ball better. It's been great since. I'm continuing to get more comfortable.
Was that more adjusting that speed flow again? Was that even like mechanics?
Speed flow. I hadn't shot with a defender closing out at me for 2 years. Adrenaline. Crowd. I mean, there's so many different things that play into performing on the court that takes a little bit of getting.
One of the things he said, which I thought was interesting, that better spacing helps him out. better spacing helps out Oweh. In other words, one of the things this team didn't do a good job with against Michigan State is having better spacing. Now, when they played Loyola, the cupcake, the spacing was better, but that's an easier thing to do. Might not have time today. If not, I'll do it tomorrow. I did a little tweet about playing Loyola, which I think is ridiculous, and some of the response was crazy. Neither here nor there. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but not enough time to give it justification. I might lead with it tomorrow, but I could change my mind. Clip number 4, we have time to play, talking about how the team is still, like a lot of teams, learning each other.
Our response as a team was great in wanting to just keep playing, wanting to just get back to it. I don't feel like we've had much bad responses to the loss. We're just trying to get better, and I think everybody's on the same page there, and we're continuing to learn each other. So
I think that's pretty good. That as down as you are when you lose games like Michigan State and Louisville, he's basically saying we went back to the gym and we want to work, and I buy it. And I do. Now, Lowe, even though he's not playing, and who knows if he will play this year, don't know, a couple of guys after the game said he's still being very loud and very vocal, which is good. One of the things Pope has said, that in his previous teams, there's been a kind of a collective group that did it. And sometimes it's one guy who does it. And if you have a superstar, that big alpha player, which Kentucky doesn't have so far this year and didn't have last year, if you think about it, I'm talking about a lotto pick. That person doesn't necessarily have to be the big voice, but it can be. There are some superstars who don't talk a lot. You know that. And so what Lowe is basically saying, hey, guys, and he's acting like a point guard, even though he's not playing. But what is going on with Chandler, he's saying it's a collective group, and he buys what Pope has said.
I think there needs to be a lot of loud voices on the court because everybody sees the game differently, and one guy can't see everything that's going on. So when we huddle, everybody's talking about what they're seeing, so we can all come together and figure it out together, and that's been super important for our team. And something we practice at practice, and ever since we stepped on campus, we practice talking to each other. We practice expressing what we're seeing and talking it out. And so I think that collective voice is just as important as one.
Practice, practice, practice. And by the way, when the term was used, bickering, the other day, when that shot on the court, I said at the time, next day, didn't bother me. Didn't bother me. Doesn't mean they're not getting along. It means they all want to talk and they all want to say what's going on. And you know what? First of all, was bickering. I don't care. I mean, I think some people try to blow it up. It's not. They're expressing their opinion. They do it in practice. Now it's in a game. Now there's more pressure. Now there's more going on. I kind of thought it was healthy. Really. I mean, do you expect a basketball team to be kumbaya all the time? No. No. John Pelfrey coming up after the break. John Pelfrey. But first, got to mention my friend Terry Page. Not a very good, a great licensed massage therapist today and tomorrow. She's in Butler, Kentucky, Thursday and Friday. She's here in Lexington on Regency Road. Use my name. Call her. Text her. Get an appointment. She's helped me tremendously. Terry Page, 859-373-0578. Down memory lane with John Pelfrey coming up next. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381. For this month, Subaru. The Outback is special, so check this out. 0%. That's right, 0% interest for 36 months. And if you want to spread it out to 72 months, 1.9%. What a deal! 0% interest for 36 months. Don't forget, the Quattro family of dealerships is the right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks.
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties. Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
I'm Kathy Binkaman. Over the holiday, there was an attempted fraud attack. My personal banker, Mary Rose, and I networked together, and the first thing that I thought of was I have to text her. And it was just within the next few minutes, there was an entire team that came together collectively. And that's just not the type of service that you typically get from your bank.
That's Kathy's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank. Time to thrive. Member FDIC.
W223CV Lexington. ESPN Sports Radio 1392.5. WLXG Lexington. And LM Communications Broadcasting Station. The only no-filter sports show in Kentucky. It's the Alan Cutler Show with award-winning TV sportscaster Alan Cutler.
Welcome back. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM. He is the pride of Paintsville. I can't imagine being a high school player and scoring almost 2,500 points and grabbing over 1,300 rebounds. Amazing. Mr. Basketball in the state of Kentucky. Part of one of the most fun groups that will ever play at Kentucky, the Unforgettables. And I've said this on TV back before I retired, and I've said it a few times on the show. Outside the national championships, for me now, selfish comment, the most fun I had as a reporter was covering Pitino's first team because it was so dark and awful around here with the NCAA mess. And these guys show up and they're running in threes and going crazy and smiling and joy and beating teams they shouldn't beat. And then they became really, really, really good. I love that team. It was so much fun. It was ridiculous. John Pelfrey, who's in the Kentucky Hall of Fame as of 2005, his jersey number 34 is retired. Kind enough to join us, taking a bus to Lexington KY with his Tennessee Tech team. John, hey, Pel, how are you?
I'm doing good, Ellen. How are you?
Good. Good. How often do you talk to all the Unforgettables? I would assume you guys have text messages that fly up and back every now and then.
Yeah, I would say it's a kind of an ongoing conversation, needless to say, and we're able to get together a couple of times a year, on occasion, which is always great. And those relationships, no matter how much time is in between, a phone call or a text, or even, a physical embrace, you're fine. You're okay. Those things were established a long time ago, and we're always pretty much in the moment with each other. And it's obviously there was a lot of great times there, in terms of winning and all those types of things, but probably what we look back on now is all the things that we took on that were hard together, that were probably more impactful on all our lives today. And so that's a special group of guys.
And he says this now with humor, but years ago, Richie told me that the thing you all had in common is you all hated Pitino. Now, Richie loves Pitino. That was our common bond.
Yeah, I think there's always a love-hate with your coach or your parent or whatever. But at the end of the day, you always know how much they love and care about you. And you come to realize, too, very quickly that the greatest example or demonstration of love is discipline and holding you accountable.
No, Pitino would ever have any discipline? Really? I must have missed that. The other thing I remember in a conversation with Richie, I said, hey, I knew he wasn't getting in trouble. That wasn't the point. I was looking for a sarcastic answer. Did you ever break curfew at night? He says, Cutler, I was in bed by 8 o'clock because I couldn't move.
That's exactly right. You were worried about making the next morning's workout.
Is there anything about those workouts that stick out now? And I would imagine you're not as tough on your kids as Pitino was on you.
Well, that was certainly a different time. Yeah, and I think when you think about those things, Coach obviously was somebody like all great coaches and all great athletes. There's never been a great player, great team that wasn't in great physical condition. So he really believed in that. And then obviously the other piece of that is Ray Oliver. Rock was a big part of molding us mentally and physically. So, there was a lot between the two of them. It was quite treacherous.
That was put very politically, quite treacherous. I got to know Rock when I was in Pittsburgh because he was the strength coach at Pitt when Cal was an assistant there. That's when I got to meet him. My favorite Rock story, and he's told this many times, he took out a small black and white picture of his kids in your first day of practice, and he had garbage cans at the baselines for you guys to throw up in, and he basically said, if you guys don't get in shape, then I can't feed my kids. I'm sure you remember that like it was yesterday.
Yeah, no, he's there's a lot of iterations of that story. The one that I kind of remember is in our first team meeting. We were in the Wildcat Lodge down at the bottom, and he kind of pulled the picture out of Michael and Winoni and said, you know who this is? And none of us knew who it was. He says, my family, don't make me choose. So, yeah, no, it was, where that all started and what was going on. Obviously, it was daunting for everybody with us being on probation and never having experienced that, and being a part of the only losing season in the history of the school at the time, not knowing Coach, and obviously when Coach got in there and started talking to us, not being able to understand Coach, nobody knew this New York accent, this mafioso bravado. Like, we had no idea what this guy was saying. It sounded great. Somewhere in there, we're going to be really good. I don't know when that was. And then obviously too, with Rock just being very tough and demanding, and that was his job. And obviously none of us had physically gotten where we needed to be. He really helped us with that. But I would say this too, Alan, like, there's so many things that go on in your life and you don't know what the big picture looks like. Our relationship, meaning the former players with Coach Pitino, it's been amazing. I played for the guy for 3 years. But for the 30 years past that, he just called me the other day. And the relationship with him has been amazing, absolutely amazing. And it's been a blessing, and we're all really thankful for that. Rock was nobody was harder on us. Nobody put more physical challenge in front of me that I didn't think I could accomplish. Anybody that saw me play know I wasn't the most gifted guy physically, but that guy was in my wedding, and I know how much he loves and cares about me, and I know he feels that way about a lot of players.
That's pretty cool that he was in your wedding, and the fact that Pitino called you just to say hi, what's going on, that kind of thing.
Yeah, like I said, it was a unique, special time. You mentioned that as well. I think, Coach Newton deserves a lot of credit for that as well, kind of coming in and trying to stabilize the place. Obviously found us a coach. It was extremely chaotic, and we needed some clear-minded, patient leadership, and he certainly gave us that and got us a great basketball coach who was willing to take on major challenges and really step into the gap and give a group of young men the opportunity to be a part of college basketball in a process and a pathway to do that. It wasn't like it was getting done on the days of the past when we were a really talented roster. That was not what that was, and it wasn't that way for a long period of time. It was just a bunch of guys who really like to play the game, and I think Coach appreciated that from us. Coach is a junkie. He loves staying in the gym, and the group of guys that he had were very, very appreciative and thankful for the opportunity to be there, and we weren't going to quit. So if it meant doing really hard things day in and day out, and that was going to get us to someplace really cool and special, so be it. We're signing up for all that.
Wow. John, that was really cool. So how do you keep your emotions in check when you're going to walk into Rupp? I'll be shocked if you don't get a standing ovation. You better get a standing ovation. And yet you're going to look up and see your jersey with some of your best friends in the world, jerseys up there. How do you not get too emotional and say, hey, you smack yourself in the face. I got to coach a game. I mean, just walking in and the ovation you're going to get and then looking up in the rafters, you're going to have to recompose yourself, yes?
I'm going to give you a bunch of coach speak right now. This is not about me. This is about our team, and that's about going out there and getting better, finding out what we can do really well versus an extremely talented, well-coached roster, find out the things that we need to get better at. That's what this evaluation is going to be. Hopefully we can compete really well in the game. But that will be based upon us, and certainly we're going to take on a great opponent. But at the end of the day, this is different. This is different. The place has always been different to me. It's the only place I ever wanted to be. I grew up every single day trying to figure out what do I need to get there. I don't know how I'm going to get there. I just know that's where I want to be. I had a lot of people close to me telling me that you can't do this. You need to think about something else. You need to consider these things here. There's also some people in my corner. If that's what you want to do, then hard work works. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy. Not going to say it's going to happen right away. But maybe it will. And so, yeah, it's just, it is different. It will be extremely hard for me. I've had a relationship for 41 years now with Rupp Arena. I got a chance to go in the first time at 16 years old as a sophomore in high school. Got a chance to do that 3 straight years with the Paintsville Tigers and Coach Runyon and Joey Couch and Keith Atkins and Jerry Gray and Lance Daniels and all those guys. And just special moments, right? And then I had a chance to play there for 5 years for 2 different coaches and 2 different times. I've been in there as an assistant coach. This will be the second time I've been in there as a head coach. Alan, even my first game as a broadcaster was a Kentucky Blue-White game that I did in Rupp Arena with John Saunders. I didn't believe it was real. I thought there was another John Saunders. There's no way he's going to come to it. It was John Saunders and the way he treated me. So, this is a unique moment in time, and I don't know how many times we'll ever get the chance to go back in there, but this will be different. I've got a couple of different jobs to do. One of them is going to be first and foremost coach my team, but the other one is going to be like deal with all of that. 41 years of a relationship with Rupp Arena. It's not just another place to me. It's a special cathedral, and I've got so many thoughts. It will be something that I've already thought about and challenged myself to try to get my mind set in the right place. And I'm going to have to refocus fast on a certain occasion because, just like you said, I'm sure there will be a lot of emotion to it.
John, you just gave me chills, seriously. And I'm an old coot. Give somebody like me, wow, 41 years. So you're in the backyard shooting hoops, whatever. When did it first hit you that you wanted to play for Kentucky? When you're 5, you were 10, you were 8. What was it?
I don't know. It's just not normal, right? Growing up in the state of Kentucky, right? It's just kind of like, it just happens to you. It just kind of comes over you. Like, you don't really know there's anything else. I mean, I grew up, one of my first memories of my dad slapping the arm of the chair in 78 when the Cats won the national championship, and Coach Hall had to put the starters back in the game because Duke kind of closed the thing out. And then the next thing I have kind of in my mind a little bit is somebody stuck a microphone in my face in the summertime when I was after my freshman year and said, "Where would you like to play college basketball?" And I didn't even hesitate, didn't even think, completely arrogant, and said, "I want to play at the University of Kentucky." It just flies out of your mouth. Like there's not really this decision-making process you go through. This is what I want to do, right? And then I can remember me and Joey Couch, my high school teammate who ended up playing football at Kentucky. We went down on senior day and saw Happy Chandler sing "My Old Kentucky Home." So I just got all these things. Like I don't know if there's any one thing. It's just a way of life for us. It was a way of life for me. We didn't go on vacations to the beach or or wherever, we went to the state tournament. I actually had to save my own quarters if I wanted to play video games in the hotel. Like it's just kind of what we did. So it kind of become part of who you are. And so when these moments come around, you don't ever take it for granted. I never took a day for granted. There's a player. I knew it was going to run out. I've said it many times. I was like a kid at Kings Island. I knew the park was going to close at some point in time. They're going to kick me out. And I didn't want to go. So I just kept racing around trying to soak it up as much as possible. And that's kind of the way I still look at it.
Have you ever sat back and realized you're one of the most successful success stories athletically in the state of Kentucky, or you don't go there?
Yeah, you know what? I haven't really done that because I'm not done yet. I feel like my best days as a leader are still ahead of me. Obviously, my world has changed completely with college basketball, and we don't operate the same, right? Needless to say, correct? So there's a lot of learning, and you got to stay curious. You got to figure this thing out. The challenges are still great. The competition is fierce. You're never going to be in a more competitive environment on planet Earth in college basketball. So no, I haven't got that. But you know, the thing I know about life is that life is a vicious competitor. It is the most challenging thing you'll ever take on. And whether it's the sports, you know, that attacks you with injuries or great opponents, or whether it's life that, you know, finds out where you're weakest, say your wife, and next thing you know, she's 75 days ago, she was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer. You got a choice to make. And, you know, my dad, who passed away almost 4 years ago now, he kind of told me, he said, listen, the only way to go down is in the very last battle, or the very last war, but the very last bullet. And so no matter what's going on, you can't quit. Somebody's got to go to work. You got to take another step. And so whenever something bad happens, or somebody tells me you can't accomplish something, I kind of go the other way. I don't really listen to it. It kind of fuels me in maybe a sick way, which is fine. We're all for rocker a little bit or a lot. But I find a challenge and hard. And so, yeah, I'm not there yet to ready to kind of look back and reflect. But I'm so very appreciative of and humbled by the people who's been in my life, you know, in high school and college, and after leaving there and being in the professional world at a number of universities. I have just been really blessed. So I don't really look at it as things that I've done. It's the things that I've been afforded to do and to be a part of, and hopefully I was able to create some value of myself and help the group.
I'm sure you realize I'm one of about a gazillion people who quietly have said a prayer for Tracy, even though I didn't text you. I didn't think it was necessary, and I wasn't sure if I should have or not. Might sound silly, but thoughts and prayers to her. If she's as tough as you, she's probably tougher because she's married to you. Like my wife is much tougher than me. So, you know, can you imagine having to put up with me?
Well, she's been around me since I was 16 years old, so I don't know a world without her. And she's a fighter and a competitor, and we're very unfortunate right now. I'm blessed to be in the situation they're in, the care we're getting. And the thing I know about my wife, and she's told me this, and she's told my team this, we don't know what cancer holds for her just yet. She's excited to be fighting back against it. But the one thing we all know on my team, on my coaching staff, and on this campus is that she will not be the excuse for us not doing well. And so she is totally invested in her recovery. But she's also told everybody that we can do both. We can have a good basketball team. We can work hard and overachieve, and while she takes care of herself and beats cancer.
Well, blessings and prayers. I'm going to guess that you really haven't told your kids how great you were here, and that they really don't know, but they'll be looking up, hopefully, in the rafters. You don't, I can't imagine, you don't seem like one to be bragging to your kids about what you did and what your teammates did.
I only on a rare occasion will I bring that out, because I see so much potential in our guys, right? So when you don't believe in yourself, or you're not being totally dialed in, that's when I might go at these guys a little bit and talk about what I did as a player, or give them an example. My playing days are so far removed. Those guys don't see me as that. You know, talking about my kids, even Mike Jackson Grace, like, I'm kind of glad they didn't grow up there, you know, in the state of Kentucky, although there have been some really cool things if they could have grown up there. But they didn't need to hear all that. Like I want them to be who they are. And again, that stuff is in the past, and it's not really, it's my story. It's not their story. So, the role takes a little bit different. The experiences I get to try to deliver, but I don't really deliver it in a way that probably most people think.
John, I need your help now. Woody, Sean Woods does my show all the time, and he loves to say, and I would love for you to dispute this only if it's true, that he got beat up more by Patino than anybody else because he was the point guard and he could take it better than everybody else. He's been whistling that song to me for decades and decades and decades. I'm going to be hurt if it's true.
Yeah, I love my teammate, and Woody was a tremendous player, and obviously, I don't know if there's ever been a better teammate. Okay,
wow.
But yeah, he was supposed to pass me the ball in the last play of the game against Duke, and he didn't do that. I let him get away with it because he made it. Okay, and yeah, Coach probably did get on him more than everybody else. But like I tell him, Sean, it's because you're all constantly messing up. He should have been yelling at you.
I think Sean's doing the show next week because I'm taking most of the week off for Thanksgiving. This will be the introduction soundbite for Woody coming on.
And you could also tell him.
Oh, please, go
and
ahead.
You could also tell him I'd have scored more than 1,200 points if he'd have passed me the ball more. You could tell him I said that too.
You're going to get some, sometime next week, you're going to get some nasty texts. Not that it would be the first time from Woody anyway, but you'll at least know this time what it's all about. Both sound bites will absolutely be on. You didn't hear the intro to the thing. The last time we was here, I don't remember what. Sometimes we scream at each other because we'd scream at each other on the phone. So all we do in radio is basically do what our private conversations is. We have to clean up our language a little bit, but that's neither here nor there. And he had this thing. Jimmy, can you cue it up? Can you cue up that one soundbite before Pell goes? That's in the open. I mean,
which one?
The one where he says, "Makes me say I love him."
Oh, yeah.
Can you pull that from the open?
Yeah.
And because you live with Woody forever, it's like I felt like a guy who was a painter, and I started painting from the corner. And then when I got to the other side, it's like, well, the door is over there, and I couldn't get out of it. And he is so proud of himself. Jimmy, you got it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're about to hang up. And he's just, I don't remember what it was, John. He destroyed me about something. And you know, Woody, once he starts, he doesn't stop. This is how we ended our last conversation. Here it is.
Yeah, I won't hang up until you tell me you love me.
All right, I love you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it from Alan Cutler. He said he loves Sean Woods.
No, I'm just telling you, I've had a lot of great teammates, and there's not anybody better than him. I'll never forget this one story. I walked into the office one summer, and Coach was there, and he says, "How's everything going?" I said, "Everything's going great." And I said, I saw Woody was up here, and I said, "What'd he say?" He said, "Everybody on the team is playing great." He said, "Everybody." He said, "There's no possible way that every player on our team is playing great." But that's what Sean Woods came up here and said. So I don't know if there's ever been a better teammate. He's one of a kind, and we do love him.
Yeah, I love him too, but I don't want to admit it though. It's not part of it.
No doubt. No doubt.
I was in a lot of pain. A lot of pain. Tell me, give me a brief thing about your team and your hopes and dreams for the season.
Yeah, I really like this team. They're big. We're physical. Obviously, I think relative to our league, these guys like basketball the way I like basketball. I see them in here early. I see them in here late. They don't like basketball like I like ice cream. I think ice cream's tremendous, but I couldn't tell you the last time I had it. So I'm really hopeful. I think the work these guys are putting in, the amount of time they're investing in relationships, I just got to believe it's going to pay off. This basketball team's putting a lot of pressure on me because I love and care about them so much to be the best I can be. So when those moments come up where they need me to encourage them, to inspire them, to give them something from experience, I want to be ready. So I'm excited about our team. I'm looking forward to all the challenges and going through it with them.
Prayers to Tracy. Bless you for your time. You are one of the great stories in the history of the state, because when somebody tells you you can't do it, and you can't do it, and you can't do it, and you didn't just ride the pine, you only started like 90 games. And think about it. You started 90 games, John, It's absolutely amazing. So I wish you the best of luck. I appreciate the time. You gave me chills. And prayers to you and your family. Thank you, John.
Thank you for your time, Alan. Always, anytime. Talk soon.
Talk soon. Whew. Jimmy, guys like that was back in the day. You could talk to these guys all the time. And so I don't know how many times I interviewed Pelfrey and Feldhaus and Woods and Mashburn and those guys, that group, the Unforgettables, and Richie. I mean, they were available all the time. And what you could do, like after a game, you could talk to them all. And before a game, you could basically talk to them all. So, back then, and that was like the golden era of covering Kentucky basketball, when TV news was more powerful and when players were available all the time, and it was just a special time. You know what? I learned something today. I didn't know that Woods was supposed to pass the ball when he hit that unbelievable shot against Duke. You don't think that'll come up in my next conversation with Sean, will you?
I mean, if there's enough time in the conversation, maybe you could squeeze it in at the end, push the commercials back a second.
Wow. And the great thing about that shot that he hit, I had to stop teasing Sean about it. I always said it was a lucky shot. And the first time I did it, he got mad. And then he said to me, I used to make that shot in games all the time. And I went, Sean, I've watched every one of your games. I was in the arena for a chunk of them, all the games at Rupp and some of the games on the road. I never saw you make that shot. And he would bristle and bristle and bristle and bristle. Can we find that shot, you think? That'd be tough from the Duke game.
Yeah, it's out there.
Okay. We're going to do this up right. Next time Sean is on, we'll take the Duke game and the two comments I've got the time codes for. Colon cancer, prayers. So I have said a prayer. I will say another one. And I was going to text John. I just didn't. I figured he was inundated with text messages and stuff like that. And he and Tracy have been together since he was 16 years old. It is a long time. And how about this? Their vacation was going to the Sweet 16. If he wanted to play video games, he had to save up his quarters. This is a true Kentucky kid who lived out his dream when people said he couldn't do it. Jersey retired, Mr. Basketball, had an unbelievable career at Kentucky. And I hope he has a great year at Tennessee Tech. Whew. As he's driving in the bus, sitting in the bus, as they're coming to Lexington, as Tennessee Tech plays Pope and Kentucky on Wednesday. Blue Lotus Health, 859-533-0914, 859-533-0914, 859-533-0914. Now also providing a licensed massage therapist. Acupuncture, Ramon Carriega, please use my name. He's helped me tremendously. I sound like a broken record, but it's the truth. It's amazing how much he's helped and has been a dear friend and one smart dude. Blue Lotus Health on Versailles Road. Check him out. 859-533-0914, 859-533-0914. Thank you, John Pelfrey. That was really, 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 really special and emotional for me going down memory lane because, man, I love that basketball team. I just did. I absolutely did. That team, what a special blend of people and basketball players that'll be very tough to ever duplicate. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313.
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties. Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. The Quantrill Auto Group has a great deal for this month. Subaru! The Outback is special, so check this out. 0%. That's right, 0% interest for 36 months. And if you want to spread it out to 72 months, 1.9%. What a deal! 0% interest for 36 months. Don't forget, the Quantrill family of dealerships is the right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks.
I'm Kathy Binkaman. Over the holiday, there was an attempted fraud attack. My personal banker, Mary Rose, and I networked together, and the first thing that I thought of was I have to text her. And it was just within the next few minutes, there was an entire team that came together collectively. And that's just not the type of service that you typically get from your bank.
That's Kathy's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank. Time to thrive. Member FDIC.
This is Brent Clark with my daughter, Carlisle.
We want to help you get ready for the holidays. So if you are just headed around the block or far away, stop in, gas up, and get some yummy treats for the car. Check out our holiday specials including Mentos or Trident Vibes bottle pack gum for $3.99 or Uncle Ray's potato chips 3-ounce bags for $1.99.
So no matter where your holiday travels take you, stop in any Clark's Pump and Shop and get stocked up on holiday candy, and thank you for being a customer.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Google, Monday through Friday.
We'll read this straight off the copy because this is kind of like crazy. I want to be a fly on the wall when he goes to Keeneland and makes a couple of bets. Once again, thank you to John Pelfrey, who was absolutely spectacular. Here's the copy. Landing a daily double in the last two races of the Breeders' Cup World Championships and earning, it's in print, otherwise I wouldn't have said it, $607,800 with his win. Oh, Uncle Sam loves you. David Smith, a financial planner from Lexington, won a record-setting edition of the 2025 Breeders' Cup Challenge. It's the 17th one. And so, wow. So, has life changed besides you have all these new friends, or how's it going? Thanks for joining us.
You know, I have not had any new family members come out of the woodwork. I have had a few requests from my children. We've got a few boys at home, and you know, it's I do think they saw an opportunity there to pull at Dad's heartstrings. But no, I mean, we're actually still shocked, just humbled and shocked. We never my wife Carrie and I went out there just to have a fun time. It was my 50th birthday year. We won the entry on a lark. We got into the contest. Just were there to have fun, and had absolutely no idea that we were going to be having this type of conversation moving forward.
By the way, your wife, Carrie, her title is promotions director, but it probably should be about 15 different titles with all the stuff she does for LM Communications. I mean, she's got her hands in all kinds of projects and stuff, and we're lucky to have her, and she does a great job. So really, just your kids, no long lost thread. Hey, remember me when we were 8 years old? You haven't had any of that, huh?
No, it's amazing. It's been kind of quiet. And I think part of it is just, from the time the tournament happened to the time they kind of made the announcement was about a 2-week period. Just there's a standard kind of audit process they have to follow. Sure. And so I just think, a lot of people, there's a lot of people out there that unfortunately don't follow horse racing, I mean, this is football season, basketball season. I know this time of year in Kentucky, we're usually talking about basketball. I keep seeing everybody wearing T-shirts going around saying we're a football school. So a little confused there.
So we can go too far on a tangent there. I don't want to take it away from you, saying football school. Yeah. So I'm just curious, what's your head like? When did you realize you had this thing on? Is like down the stretch? Was it a photo finish? Were you going crazy? Were you screaming so loud you couldn't talk for 3 days? I mean, talk about the obvious, your emotions.
The hardest part of it was actually with 2 races to go. I had started that weekend and that week, I guess, with the intention of trying to grow the 2 entries that I had into this from basically you start at 10,000, they take out 2,500 to go into the winner's pot. So you start with 7,500 in your account. and it was growing. My goal was to try to get it to 20,000 and to get at least the 2 entries there. And if I could get there, my whole thing had been, I'm going to stop with one and I'm going to fire with the other. And I got there. And so I actually texted a good buddy of mine who was also out there, and he'd busted out earlier from the tournament. So he was down in the paddock, I think, visit with friends and his wife. And I said, I need to talk to you. And, he texted me back pretty quickly and said, what's up? And I said, I've got a couple BCBC, just kind of strategy questions for you. And so that was actually when I felt nervous, was actually when I saw Ryan, because, there's very few times in life where you talk about, you like whether you play sports or you're in business or anything, you always think about like, you want to get to that final shot. You want to get to that final goal. You want to have the opportunity, to fire and win. But most of us never actually get to that point, right? We come up short along the way. And so, as soon as I saw Ryan, I actually got really nervous, and he said, what are we looking at? And I told him what I wanted to do. And I told him what my strategy was. And he said, well, let's do some math. And so we started doing some math. Doing the math, I was more nervous doing the math before I even placed the final bet. But once the bets were placed, honestly, there was like complete peace. Like, because the decision, if you think about it, it's like the decision was made. Like, win, lose, or draw, I've done my best, and the whole point of putting a puzzle together as a handicapper, right? Trying to put together a card is the whole point of it is, why most of us do it is to try to prove that we can correctly, figure out outcomes, right? And we're all used to failure. So, I was having a good day. It's a lot easier, obviously, when horses you pick run in order. And but I just had this great sense that like the hard work's done. Let's see how this runs. When I got really nervous though was when Nysos in the second to last race barely won. It was a photo finish and a nose bob. And I really got nervous then because I thought, oh my gosh, I almost lost it. And, but I'm still alive. And so really when the horses were running down the stretch in the last race, the filly mare sprint, and it was just one of those things where there was complete calm because they literally were running in almost the order that I had handicapped it. And it was, I have a buddy that even took a video of it on the side, and he's like, you're just sitting there and you're just like this, and you're just watching the race. And it wasn't even shock and awe. It was just like, oh my gosh, they actually did what I thought they were going to do. Because that doesn't happen to us most of the time when we're at Keeneland or something, right? We have an idea, then they go in the gate, and then who knows what happens.
Well, maybe I have an idea. You have an idea. Maybe I have an idea. This is pretty cool, by the way. You're donating 5% of your prize to the Amplify Horse Racing, an organization that fosters thoroughbred industry education, mentorship, and career opportunities with horse programs for youth and young adults. That's really cool. You don't have to do it. I always say, not you, but somebody's a multimillionaire and a player gets money. They say, oh, that's really cool. It's supposed to. No. There's a lot of people who have tons of money that donate money. So when somebody does something like this, you should be applauded for doing. That's really cool. You're trying to. We said hi to each other, but we don't really know each other, but it's pretty obvious you care about horse racing besides the bets and stuff like that. And I can tell from what you're saying, you love horse racing, and there's nothing better than to maybe attract some young people. If they're exposed to it, they might say, hey, I really like this and I might want to get involved.
Yeah, I just love the industry. I love I've had the firsthand experience of owning horses over the years, to handicapping horses, to being introduced to Keeneland by my grandmother. And I want the industry to be there in one form or fashion for my great grandchildren, whether they even pick up a program and handicap. I don't care. I just want them to be able to go out to Keeneland and have some burgoo, have some bread pudding. It's kind of see and be seen, put some nice clothes on. I mean, anymore, the only time we seem to wear nice clothes is like a funeral or a wedding, right? For Kentuckians, the third thing is Keeneland. And so it's just a very fun social thing. And I want that opportunity to be there for them, because I think that is something that does make Kentucky, especially Lexington, unique, is that so much of our town is driven by the horse industry. it's the equine industry is very important. It's the backbone of everything. It's the backbone of even our sports teams.
Congratulations. Appreciate your time. This is the 2025 winner of the Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge, over $600,000. Dave, mazel tov to you and Kerry. Appreciate your time. And I want to stand behind you at the window at Keeneland next fall.
Thanks, Alan.
Hey, man, have a great day. Again, thanks for your time. And mazel tov. Congratulations.
Have a good one.
You too. Pretty cool, huh? Somebody in our, related in our building, because Kerry is great. And when I first saw it, I was like, wow.
That's incredible.
I can't pick one race. I don't even bet exactas. I got enough trouble picking one horse finishing 1, 2, and 3.
And I will tell you, I've been around Dave for a little bit. He is awesome. We took a radio trip. We went to Turks and Caicos, and Kerry and Dave were there with us on the trip. And so we were around each other for like 4 days straight, pretty much. And he is just a ball of energy. I could not imagine how fun it would be to be with him at Keeneland, let alone when you have a great day like that. But just awesome dude. Couldn't happen to a better guy.
Well, that makes you feel even better that he won the award. $607,000. Pretty cool. Since he's a financial planner, and my bad, I should have let him give a plug for his business. Sorry about that, David. I let everybody do that. And I was really so mesmerized at the 607 as a financial planner. Something tells me he's going to be very wise with the money and put it away. And, spoil his kids a little bit since they were
a little bit.
Yeah, that's okay. And put it away. Good for you, David. That's really, really, really cool. So I was going to do this tomorrow, but I actually have time now. So I put a little thing on Twitter, and I was curious as to what kind of feedback I would get. And I figured I'd get some negative, and everybody's got their own opinion, and I understand it, and I respect it. But, Jimmy, some of the crap that I took about saying that Kentucky shouldn't play Loyola of Maryland, they really shouldn't. And so many people got defensive about, hey, don't you know that all these other teams do that? Duh, I don't know that. What the hell do you think I do for a living? So some of the were pretty bad. One guy said I should retire. I should have answered him back, and I purposely didn't, because with some people you get a feeling it'll go up and back, and I don't need that or want that. I should have told him that, hey, if you were my agent, I'd fire you. But there were so many nasty responses that and defensive with Kentucky basketball. Look, Pope has improved the schedule. I have been talking about since the early 1980s that I don't like cupcake games. And I even said in some tweets, it's pretty simple. I'm not suggesting that Kentucky should have played another Michigan State or a top 25 team. Didn't suggest it. Don't mean it, by the way. And it's the same argument I've had since the 1980s. Jimmy, give me a yes or no, and if you got a line, that's fine. There are dozens of teams, not in the top 25, who you can do your homework, and whether it's Pope or Cal, Pitino, doesn't make a difference. You could know early enough that they should be pretty good in their league, yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay, Loyola is not going to be good in their league. They're not a very good team. So I have two thoughts. Pick a team, not in the top 25, pick a team a team that can make the NCAA tournament. A team in another league that would be like the favorite to win or the second favorite to win, and give them the money. Or, and I've always believed this, I don't know much about Loyola Maryland's league. My buddy Dick Hoops Weiss, who also thought it was a really bad game, told me they're picked for 6th in their league. Fine. I didn't check that out because I didn't care about doing that much homework on them, because they stink to play on this level. That doesn't mean they don't have good kids. Doesn't mean their coach isn't really good, but on this level, they stink. So my theory has always been, keep the money in the state. Why are you playing Loyola of Maryland instead of like Eastern or Moorhead or Murray? And the fact that they're playing Bellarmine just before Christmas, I think that's fine. I just don't like cupcake games. I've always felt that way. And that if that makes me a snob to some of you, that's fine. That's fine. But I think you can have a better schedule than that. That's all. Now, I'm not suggesting that every night they should play the level of Duke. I'm not. But you have Loyola, you have Eastern Illinois, you have Valpo, you have Nichols. And Jimmy, I fail to believe that there aren't some Kentucky schools that would love to get the check from UK, which helps their program, right, and would have given better competition. So if you need to play some of those schools, okay, keep it in-house. Play Murray for the first time. I think I've told this story. In the early 80s when I got here, somebody told me that Kentucky never played Murray. And Jimmy, I didn't believe it. So I literally, back in the media guide back then, you could go back, they had every record for every team they played in every year. And I'm sitting there on press row, and I'm going back, and I'm going back. I stopped at World War I. I'm serious. They hadn't played Murray. And then somebody told me that there was a time period, I don't know how long, that they wanted a home and home. And Kentucky shouldn't go to Murray. They shouldn't. There's no way. Worse today than ever before. Financially speaking, Kentucky can't go to Eastern. Kentucky can't go to Murray. They just can't. And that's not snobbery. It's financial. It's absolutely financial. So I didn't like the game. And it's interesting. This is not that big of a deal. But the abuse I took, it made me actually think of Matt Jones, because he takes tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons more abuse than I do. And it's ridiculous. And actually, for the most part, I think he handles it great. He's had a lot of practice at it. But the response, yet there were a whole lot of people who agreed with me, which is fine. And by the way, I don't care if you disagree, but to get defensive about Kentucky's schedule, we play one of the toughest schedules in the country. Did I ever say Kentucky didn't play a tough schedule? No. I even had somebody UK who I respect, and I'm not going to mention the person's name because I don't think it's appropriate, but laid out all these things about other teams that were doing similar kind of things. Now, to me, when Michigan State is playing Detroit Mercy at home, that's a little different because it's an in-state thing. But Duke playing Niagara, okay. Florida playing Merrimack, doesn't do anything for me either. Arkansas playing Jackson State at home, UCLA playing Presbyterian at home. So it's normal, these kinds of games. And I get it, and I understand it, but I don't have to like it. Just because it's not unusual, why do I have to like it? And I was told by this person that I respect that I'm being critical of the schedule, and that's a mistake. Okay. And as I told this person back, hey, I respect you, and it's okay we disagree. Again, I don't think Kentucky should play Duke every night. I don't. I absolutely don't. But trust me when I tell you this, there could have been a team Kentucky could have played lower part of the top 50 where there could have been dunks and runouts and things like that. And Kentucky did a much better job with their spacings and things like that when they played Loyola, but it doesn't mean anything to me. It really doesn't, because if you can do that kind of spacing against North Carolina, that would mean something to me. It would. And so, look, some of the guys felt good about what they did and that kind of stuff, and they had an opportunity, and I think that's wonderful. But you know what? Those same kids on the team could have felt good playing a better team. Again, not a Michigan State, not a top 25 team. But if you do this the way I've always wanted to do it, I wouldn't schedule Nichols and Valpo and Eastern Illinois and Loyola. I wouldn't. Now, Tennessee Tech, absolutely. Absolutely. It's John Pelfrey. It's John Pelfrey. Okay? So when there's a tie or a connection, and I'll go one step further, doing a favor for somebody, because sometimes these games happen that way. Okay? I don't have a problem with that. I just don't. There's got to be push and pull. I think it's great that Pelfrey is coming back with his Tennessee Tech team. I really like what he said about his team, that his guys are Jim Retz and all that kind of stuff. I think it's great. I don't think it's good. I think it's great. I applaud Kentucky for playing them. And if that sounds hypocritical because they played Loyola and Eastern Illinois and Valpo and Nichols, then you don't understand basketball. That's relationships. This guy's got his jersey up in the rafters. This guy is one of the great Kentucky stories of all time. As a little kid, that's all he wanted to do, and he was told he couldn't do it, and he ended up starting 90 games, ended up being Mr. Basketball in the state, ended up playing some Pro Bowl overseas. And if I remember right, he was the last guy cut by the 76ers. And if I remember right, I should relook it up again, but I'm pretty sure my memory is pretty good with this stuff. He was cut, and the team liked him more than the guy that they kept. And by the way, this happens more often than it gets publicity for, but the guy they kept had a guaranteed contract. And Pelfrey didn't have a guaranteed contract. So it's money. It's basically money. And that has happened so many times. It's not even funny. Remember all the abuse that LeBron was taking because his son, right, got a spot that would have gone to somebody else? Remember that? And I said at the time, I get it. I had no problem with it. You kind of owe LeBron, don't you? So that's part of business. It just is. And at the same token, too, I don't want to get into a LeBron thing, but he basically made his contract so that he more than paid for his son's contract by taking the contract the way he did. Explained it at the time, which was the right thing to do for LeBron and Bronny. And I said at the time, he needs 3 years. And he's certainly not ready yet. And if he's not good enough after 3 years, guess what? They made a mistake. They made a mistake. And mistakes happen all the time. But this whole thing about Kentucky, whew. Jimmy, do you see this? That you're playing my buddy Dick Hoops twice when I told him what I said. He goes, couldn't agree with him more. Why are you playing Loyola of Maryland? You get nothing out of it. Nothing. You know, because here's the deal. Like Cam Williams was great, and we're going to play his sound tomorrow. What a mature, smart young man. I probably enjoyed listening to Cam Williams, one of the top post-game interviews I've heard this year. He's thoughtful. He's quick. He's smart. He's got great eyes when he's responding to you. When I say eyes, sharp eyes. And so he had a hell of a game. Okay, do I think he could have a hell of a game against Utah State? I do, by the way. And by the way, I don't know if Utah State's any good, but if they were one of those teams, or Utah, or somebody else. Day before Christmas, basically before Christmas, do you bring in a Bellarmine, not somebody from across the country? Of course you do. I got no problem with that. But looking at the schedule, this is crazy. So, you know what? I'm old. I'm washed up. Shut up. Retire. What's fascinating is none of it bothered me. I just was shaking my head. You see my argument, don't you? Loyola of Maryland, give the check to Eastern Kentucky. They just did a beautiful job. I haven't been there yet, but I've seen the pictures of fixing their gym up, which needed fixing up. Great. Let them get a 6-figure check or whatever the hell it is to help them out. And you have local ties. Tell me one sentence where I'm wrong.
No, and to me, the people that go back and forth like with that on Twitter and say, well, you just wanted to play a top 20 schedule at home, that's the equivalent of like someone cooks you a meal and you say, yeah, you know, the mashed potatoes weren't really the thing. Oh, so everything I do is just so gross, isn't it? I'm the worst. It's like, all right, cool. Just, yeah, go with that one. You have no argument, so you just go to the extreme. It's just stupid.
It is stupid. And look, and it's okay to disagree. There's a lot of great Kentucky fans, but some of the abuse thrown at me was just obtuse. And I tell you, none of it bothered me. You get to a point where it just doesn't matter anymore.
And you have to realize there's some people that are out there just commenting or replying to whoever's tweet about basketball, whatever team, just to rile you up. And you can't let them win.
Huge thanks to John Pelfrey. That was radio gold. Would you say that was radio gold going down memory lane with Pell?
Yeah.
It was really cool. And then the sound bites we have next time Sean does the show, Sean Woods. God bless you, John and Tracy, with the colon cancer, and one of the class acts ever, and a guy who was told basically his whole life, you can't do it, you're not good enough for here. Well, you know, Jersey's up in the rafters. Don't tell me the determination can't do it. So nice going down a little memory lane with Brian Williams. Appreciate him doing the show. David Smith, how about that? Hey, David, I want to go to Keeneland with you. Really cool. Good for him. Really, really happy for him. We'll do a show tomorrow, and then I'm taking Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday off for Thanksgiving. I will say it again tomorrow. Count your blessings. Hope you and yours have a great turkey. And every day I say I'm lucky and blessed. It's a beautiful thing. Jimmy, thank you, sir. Appreciate you, dude.
Thank you.
Thank you. Coming up next, Brad Taylor, Matthew and